Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk about two microphones that I have in my microphone collection. I have a little bit of a microphone addiction, so to speak, and my most recent pickup is a microphone that I've wanted for a very long time. I definitely had to put a little bit of money aside to get this microphone. It is not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. It is the Sennheiser MKH50. And this microphone, like I said, has been a dream microphone of mine for quite some time. Right now, I'm recording this video with my Sennheiser MKH416, which is a shotgun microphone. Now, the advantage of this microphone over the shotgun microphone is that this microphone, the 50, is really geared for indoor dialogue capture in environments where the room is not very well treated. This microphone here, the Sennheiser MKH416, being a shotgun microphone, is really geared for audio capture in outdoor environments. Now, there are a lot of sound professionals and voiceover artists that do use the Sennheiser MKH416 in indoor environments, but you really need to treat the environment when using this microphone. So the interference tubes on these microphones, they don't help in very reflective and reverberant rooms. So I'm shooting this in my bedroom right now, and I don't have a lot of acoustic treatment. I have two panels, one in front of me, maybe about 4 to 5 feet away. And then I also have a blanket hanging from a stand over here as well. But I wouldn't say this is an acoustically treated room by any stretch of the imagination. I do have a small carpet on the floor, but the ceilings are pretty high. So I would imagine that there's quite a bit of reflection in this recording with the Sennheiser MKH416. And any other shotgun microphone is typically going to get a lot of reflections in the recording. Now, I could move this microphone closer to my mouth, and that would probably reduce some of the reflection. As you get the microphone closer to the sound source, it sort of helps with those reflections. But if you want the microphone out of the frame, you're going to introduce some reflection with shotgun microphones, unless you really treat your room or your environment. Well, that's where a microphone like the Sennheiser MKH50 comes into play. Now, you won't completely get rid of all of the reflections in a room, but this does a really good job with establishing those, or I shouldn't say establish, but recording those low-end frequencies and getting that really quote-unquote aggressive sound in dialogue capture. And it's not only my opinion, some bigger YouTubers like Curtis Judd also feel that this microphone does a really good job when it comes to environments, specifically indoor environments, where it's very reflective and reverberant. So that's a little bit about these two microphones. They both are super cardioid microphones, so the pickup pattern is about the same. But like I said, this one does not have the interference tubes. Both of these microphones are industry staples. They're used across Hollywood and commercial projects around the world. They've been used for decades. But yeah, anyway, I'm really happy I picked up this microphone. Also, fun fact, and I'm pretty sure I'm correct about this. I did a little bit of research on this a while ago, but the Sennheiser MKH50 was the microphone of choice for some of the scenes within Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, which is one of my favorite films of all time. And specifically in the Joker interrogation scene, they used a MKH50 to capture the dialogue in that interrogation room. So it's a very reflective room, and this microphone was probably the best choice in that circumstance. Now, there is also the Sennheiser 8050, which is a newer version of this microphone, but I tend to think that this microphone, at least to my ear, sounds a little bit better in terms of that aggressive sound. I'm sure there's very little difference between the two overall, but yeah, I'm really happy with this purchase, and I figured we will change the microphones out so you can hear the difference between the Sennheiser MKH416, which I'm recording with right now, and then the Sennheiser MKH50. So I will go ahead and change this microphone out right now. So now we're recording with the Sennheiser MKH50. I have the Sennheiser 416 in hand right here. This is what it sounds like. And obviously this room is not very well treated. Like I mentioned before, I have a couple of little things that are helping with the reflection, but it's definitely not up to where I think it could sound a lot better. But this microphone is probably one of the better microphones that you can use for environments like this to capture indoor dialogue. Like I said before, it's been used on a bunch of different Hollywood films and commercial sets. It is a really exceptional microphone so far from my testing, and it is a super cardioid microphone, just like the 416 is as well. But this is a great microphone, a very expensive microphone, don't get me wrong, for recording dialogue out of the frame. So you could use, if like, let's say you're trying to create content for the internet, but you don't mind having a microphone in the shot, you wouldn't need a microphone like this. This really is intended for, shots or scenes or interviews where you really want the microphone out of the frame. You could get away with a dynamic microphone like a Shure SM7B or something to that effect. I think this microphone sounds excellent, and I do think it sounds better than a Shure SM7B or a dynamic microphone in the right environment. Obviously, those microphones are really meant to be used up close to the talent. It's a completely different application, but overall, I really like this microphone. I think this microphone sounds amazing in well-controlled environments too, in terms of reflection and reverberation. So I've actually tested this microphone in my closet where I've got coats hanging from the coat rack, dampening that reflection. And I've also used the 416 in there too. And both of them sound incredible. I think they sound even better than dynamic microphones in those well-controlled environments. I mean, they probably should, considering they cost quite a bit more than, like a Shure SM7B or an RE20. But I will include in this video a sample of what the SM7B sounds like in comparison to these two microphones. Obviously, this is really a video about the MKH416 and the MKH50, but I figured that it might still be beneficial to include just a little sample of what the SM7B sounds like in comparison, or I should say just a dynamic microphone as a reference. Of course, you're not going to have a dynamic microphone far away out of the frame like you would with these microphones, but just to kind of give you an idea of the sound difference overall. What the heck, we'll throw it in here right now. All right, so now I have the Shure SM7B plugged into my audio interface. My sound device is MixPre 6 Mark II. Well, I should say interface / field recorder / mixer. And this is a dynamic microphone compared to the MKH50 and the MKH416, which are both condenser microphones. So obviously this is a very different type of microphone for a very different type of application, but I figured I would just include what this sounds like in this environment as just a reference point. If you need a microphone, but you don't care about a microphone being in the frame of the shot, whether you're doing live streams or podcasts or really whatever, then obviously you don't have to worry about these more expensive microphones. So you might be thinking like, well, this sounds so good because there's not much reflection in the recording compared to something like the MKH50. Well, don't forget that this microphone is just so close to my mouth. So obviously it's going to do a better job reducing the reflections coming into the recording, being so close to the talent's mouth. Now, if I were to move this microphone further away, so now I'm holding it up over, this probably looks really stupid, but you can tell, I mean, the audio is probably sounding pretty bad because it's a dynamic microphone. I mean, this is really not what it's intended to be used for, where the Sennheiser MKH50 and the 416 are better at capturing audio from a much further distance. So I'm gonna bring the microphone back now. So yeah, that was just a little demonstration to show, obviously this microphone, you can't really capture audio, good audio from a distance away. So it's great for what it's intended to be used for. The MKH50 is obviously a much better choice when you want to get audio recorded, but have the microphone out of the frame, unlike using something like this. So anyway, we're going to jump back over to the MKH50 now. All right, so now we're back on the Sennheiser MKH50. And what did you guys think? What did you guys think of the difference between how the Sennheiser MKH416 sounded in comparison to the Sennheiser MKH50? How did you think this did against the Shure SM7B? Obviously, very different microphones for very different applications. Some of you might think it was ridiculous to include that into this video, but I figured I would just include it overall, just as a comparison. But yeah, I really like this microphone. It's been used, like I mentioned before, in a bunch of different productions around the world for many years. And we've probably heard it in many different commercials and films that we didn't even realize. Like I mentioned before, it's been a microphone that I've wanted for a very long time. And did I really need this microphone? Not really, but I've always been of the opinion that audio is superior to video, and we pay so much money for camera bodies and lenses. When it comes to microphones, I think that audio is often neglected, but it's probably a more important aspect of video production and content creation. So I don't think it's a complete waste of money, even though I have several microphones already. I mean, if you think about it, this microphone, you know, it's north of $1,000. I didn't pay full price for this microphone, but I definitely see the advantage of having quality microphones for your recordings. And like I said, I think audio is often neglected. And the cool thing about microphones in comparison to other pieces of technology like camera bodies and lenses is that microphones really never go obsolete, so to speak. Like, I mean, this microphone has been used for a long time, decades, I believe. So yeah, this will be in my collection for probably quite a long time, unless I decide to sell it in the future for some reason. But you know, if you're looking to invest your money into technology, or I should say electronics or gear, then you probably are better suited at putting your money towards microphones. And you don't obviously have to spend this type of money on a microphone. There's microphones at many different price points. There's the Audio-Technica 4053B, which is a similar type of microphone to this. I think the disadvantage of that microphone is that it doesn't have the RF, I think it's called RF biased or RF resilience. I'm not 100% sure, but Sennheiser microphones are RF biased, and I don't believe the Audio-Technica 4053B is. It is a microphone that's about roughly half the cost of this, but it can serve as a great dialogue or indoor recording dialogue microphone for different production needs. I just so happen to be partial to Sennheiser because I've had the 416 for quite a while, and I've been eyeing the MKH50 for quite some time. So anyway, I also wanted to include in this video a couple of recordings in my closet just to give you a comparison of how these sound in an environment that isn't so reflective or reverberant. So I recorded the MKH416, the MKH50, and the SM7B just to kind of give you a comparison overall to how they sound. So let's listen to that now. Now this is a test of the Sennheiser MKH416 in my closet. I have the microphone maybe just over, I want to say 8 to 9 inches away from my mouth. I have it angled, pointing down towards my mouth, well, in between my mouth and my chest. This is what it sounds like in a closet space that isn't as reverberant or reflective as my main bedroom with the higher ceilings. So how does this sound? I think that you'll probably notice that the reflection is mostly gone. There might be a little bit left. This isn't a perfect example of how the microphone sounds in a completely non-reflective environment, but it should be a little bit better. I do have some coats, a blanket on top of the shelving within the closet as well. So yeah, this should be pretty good overall. Now we'll move over to the Sennheiser MKH50 to see how that sounds in an environment like this. So I will switch out the microphones now. So now you're listening to the MKH50 in my closet. This is what this microphone sounds like in a more dampened, smaller room. I do have, like I mentioned before, I have a blanket hanging from the top shelf of the closet and coats and shirts hanging from the coat rack. There's no additional acoustic treatment in here. You might hear a clicking noise, which is my heater in the background. But tell me what you think about how this microphone sounds in comparison to the MKH416. I do think this microphone, in comparison to the MKH416, you wouldn't want to use this microphone really close up to the talent like a handheld microphone. And not that you would normally use the 416 like that anyway, but I know voiceover artists do use that microphone up close. You probably wouldn't want the MKH50 for that type of application. So that is a difference that I've noticed in application. But now we'll switch over to a dynamic microphone just as a reference point. All right, so now we're on the Shure SM7B in my closet. I have the microphone directly in front of my mouth. Well, not directly, but at a slight angle, but much, much closer than I did the Sennheiser MKH416 in the 50. You know, this is a dynamic microphone. Like I said, I did have to raise the gain, and I turned off 48 volt phantom power on my MixPre 6 Mark II. So yeah, this is what this microphone sounds like, just as a comparison between the two Sennheiser microphones. Not that this might be relevant to you, but just as a comparison overall. Now, obviously, like I said before, I'm recording this closer to my mouth, unlike those two microphones, because that's really the intended use case for a dynamic microphone. Let me raise it up at the distance that they were at. So now I'm talking at the volume I was talking at before with the Sennheiser MKH416 in the 50. And you can tell the microphone probably sounds, or the recording sounds a little bit different with the Shure SM7B at a distance away. Obviously, this is not how you would use the microphone. But again, this is just a comparison for reference. Tell me what you think. And now we're back closer to the microphone. So yeah. So anyway, I hope you guys like this video. I know that this wasn't a comprehensive review of this microphone. It's just really a demonstration to show what its intended use case is for and how it compares to traditional shotgun microphones. I think a lot of people look at buying a shotgun microphone first when they get into video production, along with a microphone for on top of the camera, a smaller shotgun microphone, or getting some sort of lav kit. But they tend to use a lot of their microphones indoors more so than they do outdoors. I mean, it depends obviously on what you're trying to shoot, but yeah, if this helped you in any way, if it didn't help you and you just found this entertaining, or if you hated this video, let me know in the comments below. I'm sure some of you will. And like I said before, audio is a big component of video production and often overlooked. So yeah, anyway, thank you for checking this out, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Also, let me know what you guys thought of the microphones. Did you think that this microphone was substantially better than the MKH416 or the SM7B? I'd love to know your thoughts. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next video.